Here's a look at what's coming up into the show. There are 15 students to benefit this year from the YES. The Youth Exchange Program is supported by the U.S. Department of State. Wrapping the news, a challenge taken up by two prominent figures of Senegalese hip-hop. And our international news roundup, which focuses on two countries facing their destiny, Zimbabwe and Mali. This one coming next, but first, a training and incubation center donated to women of Gorom, a village located in the suburbs of Dakar. The infrastructure, worth 65 million CFA francs, is funded by the West African Women's Association. Find more. Robin cutting to inaugurate this training center, which comes at its time for women of Gorom. The latter will be able to enhance their capacities in activities generating incomes. The infrastructure is named after Lagos Senator Alurami Tinubu.
But I knew I was coming home to my sisters and my brothers in another African country. But this is my first time actually of coming to Senegal, and I feel very much at home. And I think your hospitality, could not be parallel to any.
The center, funded by the West African Women's Association up to 65 million CFA francs, is intended to help the targeted populations be independent financially. You're young, talented, and would like to spend a one-year study in the US, asking yourself a question: is it possible to do it without paying a buck? The answer is yes. Yes, standing for the Youth Exchange and Study. The program is funded by the U.S. Department of State. Since 2007, 55 students have benefited from it. Masuso reports.
They are 15 pupils in the 8th grade for secondary school of Fatigue, Samedi. They will stay for a year in the USA. A scholarship provided by the Youth Exchange and Study.
The Youth Exchange and Study, or YES program, sends high school students from many countries around the world to the United States, and some American high school students to other countries, to promote mutual understanding. It's actually a high school exchange program, so the children spend one academic year in the United States, not only for academic purposes, but also to stay with an American family and learn about the American way of life.
They will live in host families and share their culture, their knowledges, their capacities with their host families, share with them their life, but learn from these people, learn from their culture, learn from their community.
The program is designed for pupils in the 8th grade. The latter should succeed in the exam. These students are the best in their classes.
I was an exchange student back in 2007-2008. I was placed in Montreal Falls, New York. Experience and the things I've learned keep having an impact on my life on a daily basis. So you can say I can say that it's a great experience and very rewarding, and I know that I've been very lucky to have been chosen to participate in this program.
Community service, I learned about punctuality, and I'm using it. I'm trying to share it with people next to me. I try to put in them American values, because if today America is one of the biggest country in the world, it's because the hard workers. And so I want Senegal to be, I don't know, maybe in 5 years or 10 years, as big as America.
The YES program offers scholarship to pupils in secondary school aged between 15 to 17 years coming from Muslim countries.
Anniversary of Kodesuria, the Council for the Development of Social Science in Africa, celebrates its 4 decades of existence. Commemoration but also reflection through a panel. Participants, mainly researchers, put the focus on the scourges undermining the development of Africa and more.
Around the table, African professors and researchers for whom research is a lever for the development of the continent. During this round table, the different participants stressed on the challenges ahead.
The point of my presentation was that before talking about the issues of sovereignty, of self-determination, we need to talk first of all about the issues of culture, the issues of democracy in Africa.
This meeting was held in the framework of the 40th anniversary of Codes Ria. For 4 decades, the Council for the Development of Social Science Research in Africa has been releasing several publications.
It's 40 years of hard work, 40 years of research and reflection on the issues that our continent is confronted with, is faced with, development-related issues, governance issues, but also global issues, whether we're talking about climate change or other kinds of issues that are of importance to this continent.
The issue of Mali was also at the heart of the debate to help the country completely recover from the crisis. The participants also advocated for the creation of a Truth and Reconciliation Committee just after the election.
A challenge taken up by 2 prominent figures of Senegalese hip-hop rapping the news. For Keyti and Human, this new experience is worth of its weight in national and international success. How did they achieve this result? Find more with this report. Umindo and Lawajop have more.
How to regularly release a musical production in phase with the news, all this without being subject to the constraint of the showbiz market hit by the crisis. With this wrapped news show, Human has found a response to the dilemma.
Bienvenue, installez-vous, on a des nouvelles pour vous. Il y a des bonnes, il y a des mauvaises, mais il y a des nouvelles pour vous. Bienvenue.
Now we see that a lot of people are listening to music but they don't buy music anymore. The only solution was to find a way to mix up the information and then to be up to date and at the same time entertain people.
This weekly program is broadcast on the internet and on a private Senegalese television. It lasts 5 minutes. The Wrapped News Show is a mixture of salient facts put in music on a humorous tone focusing mainly on politics.
C'est à 100 mètres que la route du sommet la conduit. Eh ben je dirais à ta mère de te préparer du zombie.
It's a challenge. Every week we have to create a piece of art, and that's why it's very exciting to work in this project. And I hope that some other people will just try to think different, because what we're doing is very complicated, but in the same time it's very exciting for ourselves,
Ne zappez surtout pas, le Wolof c'est dans un instant, l'information sans chichi.
The Wrapped News Show is also declined in the mostly spoken Senegalese local language, Wolof, a task which falls to Keyti.
Moi j'ai eu ce besoin de prouver à certaines personnes ou à certains rappeurs qui avaient des difficultés pour écrire des textes d'un certain niveau en Wolof, qu'il est possible de dire des choses importantes, essentielles en Wolof.
The commitment of the 2 rappers in the movement, which contributed to a second exchange of political power in Senegal, facilitated the international success of the show. 3 months after its creation, it resonates around the world.
We'll kick off in Senegal, where a new kind of newscast is born.
It gives to Africa or to Senegal another way of thinking. Like people say, oh, so out of Africa we can have nice things like this. So for us, it's we're really proud of that.
His international success encourages Keyti and Human. They will keep on producing the show in this small studio without any sponsor, in short, with limited means. Ultimately, nothing to undermine the determination of these experts of rhymes.
L'information sans chichi, le journal rappé.
This week's international news roundup: 2 African countries facing their destiny. 2 feelings emerging: fear and hope. For Zimbabwe, fear to retrench in post-election violence. For Mali, hope, as the country is heading to a 2nd round of vote. Find more.
Celebrating the success of their candidate before the final results were published. But they were right. Malian Prime Minister Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, or Ibika as he's known, took almost 40% of the vote, but failed to get an outright majority. He was still well ahead of his main rival, former Finance Minister Soumaïla Cissé, who failed to push past 20%. Cissé supporters had been crying foul before results came in, claiming abuses at the polls.
Our lawyers have revealed a lot of irregularities, and we will take this to the court. That will make our candidates score better, but no matter what, at this time, a 2nd round is absolutely necessary.
The second round of voting is due to be held on August the 11th, drawing out tensions surrounding Mali's election process and threatening to send an already divided country to boiling point.
Each crisis reveals the divisions that we have in Mali. And indeed, this election was meant to unite people, but it could take a wrong turn and increase the division, and this is a danger.
Last Saturday's peaceful vote was seen as a step towards recovery for Mali after 18 months of unrest. Onlookers are now holding their breath, worried that divisions surrounding these elections could tip the country back into instability.
This Friday morning in Zimbabwe's capital Harare, the headlines are clear. Mugabe's ZANU-PF party is likely to win up to 75% of Wednesday's vote. Today, the African Union's monitoring mission gave its final conclusion of the poll.
We will stand the election is free, fairness, fairly.
Yet several NGOs strongly disagree with these findings. Human Rights Watch claims the African Union observer missions have a poor track record.
Unfortunately, they have quite often endorsed elections that were clearly flawed.
Opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai still rejects the results. The second observers group, led by the Southern African Development Community, or SADC, also declared that the election was free and peaceful. But it added that it was too early to call the vote fair. Despite that, they urged both parties to accept the outcome of the election.
I mean